Okay guys, in front of the camera here I have the Great Eastern Cutlery number 83 Tascosa. This is actually the only locking or lockback GEC brand knife that I have in my collection. So this is a little different because this is not a slip joint. This actually has a lock. So let's take a look at the tube here first. This one's in Tidute cutlery. This is just the ordinary Tidute cutlery sticker. So Great Eastern Cutlery, and you got 1095 steel. And on the top of the tube, let's take a look here. So we have a number 83, a 5 because this is a drop point or Skinner main blade. 1 single blade, 15 for 2015, and LB for lockback. And this particular cover is tortoiseshell acrylic. So let's take a look at the knife itself here. So that tortoiseshell acrylic is really neat, and they've used this on quite a few models from GEC, including some of their Great Eastern Cutlery branded knives. I think they have a few 15s in the GEC line with the 440C steel that they have with tortoiseshell, but they've had this in more than one model. I know this isn't the first time I've seen it, but it's the only one that I have that's in tortoiseshell acrylic, and it's actually really detailed. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but you know, that acrylic is detailed all the way through. So if you kind of look at a side view, you can actually see all the details going through here. So it's really neat. It's really unique. And that's not real tortoiseshell or anything, it's just, that's just kind of the style they call it. Because I guess maybe it kind of resembles the inside of a tortoiseshell, but it is just still acrylic. So it's really neat. So this is of course in a Tidute trim, which means we have plain bolsters and a satin finished blade. And we also have the classic bar hot dog shield on the knife. Now there's not much of a pull because this is a lockback, so you know, you don't have a half stop or anything. Just when you get to there, it locks up. So it's not, you know, that traditional spring tension that you have on a GEC slip joint, which, I mean, you know, it's kind of expected. This is not slip joint, so you're not going to have that walk and talk that you do on a slip joint. Still snaps into place, but that's the lock. And that's a conventional, you know, traditional back lock, you know, being all the way at the back of the handle. It's not like a mid lock or anything, so we need to press that lock. It lifts up the spring, the back spring there, allows the blade to close. So yeah, this is the lockback, and I think this was only made in a lockback version, the number 83. If I remember correctly, it was, they don't have any other versions. And I don't think they've made it for a while. I think 2015 might have been the last time they made these. Maybe not. Could be wrong. They have a larger lockback as well. I think that's like the Cody Scout. So let's take a look here. So on the tang there, should probably work if it's open. So we have GEC Titusville Ironworks 835115, and this also has the triple P etching, which, if you are familiar with GE, stands for, I believe, Pattern Production Premier. Maybe that's out of order, but yeah, this means that this was the first time that they've run this pattern at GEC, and they put that etching on the Tidutes and not the Northfields. So even though they ran this in both Tidute cutlery trim and Northfield, it was only on the Tidutes. So that's similar to, like, if you look at the number 18, they had a Coyote and then the Beagle. Well, the Coyotes have the triple P etching because it was the first time they used the number 18 pattern. When the Beagles came out, well, they already had the number 18 pattern for the Coyotes, so that's why they didn't have that. So yeah, this is a small lockback. I think it's a number, I can't remember, but yeah, the Cody lockback is larger, so this is a very small lockback. And you have a lanyard tube too if you want to put a lanyard through there. Really nice. When we open up the blade, there's a little bit of wiggle, and that's just kind of expected in some of these traditional lockbacks. Sometimes they develop a little bit of play, and of course GEC does a lot of slip joints and not a lot of lockbacks, so it kind of is, you know, it's not their expertise, and you know, it's not enough play to be worried or concerned about. And this is a really small blade, so you know, we're really not expecting to put it into really hard use. So it's a nice satin finish drop point blade. Take a look at that. Fits well in the hand. Get about a 3-finger grip on this. It's a smaller pattern, the 83. And let's take a look at the handle. You have a little bit of a kink that comes up right here. So this is all straight until it drops down with the lock back. But this is, yeah, you have a little bit of kink there where the pin is, and it swoops down, which kind of allows your fingers to fall into place there. So yeah, you can't get a full grip, but it's ergonomic with that 3-finger grip. This makes it a nice little small locking traditional. Pretty easy to depress that lock to get the blade to close. Doesn't require a lot of force, so even though you have that locking blade and it's a back lock, sometimes back locks are very hard to depress the lock, and this one's not too bad. So I like that about it. It's really neat. So let's get a good size comparison here. So if we're looking at a number 83, let's put next to it a number 14, which is, they're pretty close in length. Of course the number 83 is a little wider, but height wise, yeah, it's a little bit taller than a number 14, and it's a little bit wider next to a number 15. So it's a little bit shorter than a number 15. That's about as wide as a number 15. So think in between a number 14 and number 15 is what the 83 is, except it's a locking blade. And how much does the 83 weigh? It's definitely light, like all these traditionals, but let's just take a look. 1.62 ounces. That's right? Zeroed, right? Now it says 1.58. Now this is not the most expensive scale, so yeah, 1.58. So you know, if this scale doesn't seem extremely accurate to you, well, I didn't pay a lot of money for it, but I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah, these are very light, under 2 ounce locking traditional blade with really nice acrylic handles. And I don't always like acrylic, but some of the GEC acrylics that they come out with are really nice. And I think this tortoiseshell is definitely one of them. There's a lot of detail in there. A lot of depth to the acrylic too. When you look at it from the side, it's really cool, unique. It does snap close, so you got a little bit of tension there. So this isn't going to just fly out of the handle, which is good. But yeah, I think overall it's a neat little lockback. Now, probably not something I'll always carry, because I tend to at least go for maybe a number 15 or One of my favorites is a 77 or 74, some of the more medium-sized frame GECs. But this is also really neat. Maybe if I go out of town and I have to prepare this with a smaller folding modern knife, if I'm going somewhere where they have blade length restrictions, maybe I'd pair it with this, since I'm already going to be carrying a smaller modern knife. So you have that nail nick too. No real problem with that nail nick. You can't really pinch this open. There's not enough. You kind of can, but there's not a lot of blade out there to pinch it open. But the nail nick works fine. This, of course, with the way the lockback works, it's not a nail breaker by any chance, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. But that's the number 83 by GEC. I guess you could also call this the little lockback. So that's the one in Titty trim. There's a few other ones out there, including a few in the Northfield trim. So, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Like and subscribe for more videos. And as always, thanks for watching.